standing in line talking to this man, and he said he said relationships are complicated, they're hard, they take a lot of work. And I said, no, they're not. They don't have to be. Think about it. If you were trying to figure out how to play football, it would feel complicated. It would feel hard. It would feel like it takes a lot of work. But I make it easy because I'm a coach. I see intimacy as your lifetime sport, your relationship, your partner. That's your team. Imagine if you joined a football team without a practice. It would seem really complicated. It would seem really hard, like you were trying to figure out how to do it on your own, right? And then if you're just trying to talk about it, you're not going to figure out how to play football because football is an action. And then what do you do if there's a problem with, let's say, your equipment or your partner refuses to even talk about it? Then you feel completely stuck. This is what I see. Everyone is trying to figure it out, but you don't learn how to play football or be part of a team until you actually make the team. The old way is that you get into a relationship and then you just try to figure it out. And then when it's not working, you find yourself in a counselor's office and you're trying to talk about it. Or if there are equipment issues, you go talk to your doctor. Maybe you get some pills. Maybe you're like me. I didn't want to talk to my husband anymore. And the pills were not skills. I believe that your relationship doesn't take a lot of work. You need to learn to play together. I'm Amy Culler. I'm your intimacy coach, and I became the help that my husband and I needed, but we couldn't find. I wanted to go from roommates to playmates. And the problem is that you get into a relationship with someone that you love, and then you stop feeling or making the love for whatever reason. Maybe there are health issues or ED or PE, communication problems, financial issues, stress, kids, you're busy. There's trauma, pain, or shame. Maybe there's porn. It's okay. You're not alone. That's why I'm here. So many people are afraid to address intimacy because it feels dangerous. What if there's no solution? And it seems like there isn't because you can't just talk about it and the pills aren't a solution. So now what are we going to do? If you're not happy, you're like, they should figure it out. But how? Maybe you think that everybody else has already figured it out and everybody else knows what they're doing and they're doing it all the time. They're not. The problem is we get into a relationship because we think that life is really hard. And it is. Life takes a lot of work. Life is complicated, but I'm going to love doing life with you. That's why we get into a relationship. That's why we join a team. And then we expect love, sex, and intimacy to happen automatically. That would be like expecting football practice and football games to happen automatically. But you're two completely different people with different moods, appetites, and languages. You're two completely different people with different, complete points of view. My couple, Kevin and Jackie. Jackie thinks of herself as a giver and a caretaker. She loves Kevin. She loves her family. She cooks, she takes care of them because she loves them. Kevin thinks of himself as a giver, as a provider. He loves Jackie. He loves his family. He works so hard. Look, everybody's a giver. Who's receiving? And what are you receiving? And that's the problem. Kevin is trying to throw a ball at Jackie and she can't catch it. Jackie is sending cues, emotional cues to Kevin, and he's not catching them because they're two completely different people. And that's exactly how I see you. Jackie is the emotional component. Kevin is the physical component. That's why we're wired to be a great team. Even in just saying in same-sex couples, I still see an emotional and a physical. And when you learn to play together, you make a perfect team. Jackie gives Kevin access to his emotions, to feeling his emotions. Sometimes he's like, "What's wrong with me?" And she'll be like, "You're sad, honey." Oh, right. And Kevin gives Jackie access to her feeling body. because normally she wouldn't have that. Before she married him, she was like, no, don't touch me, get away. And it seemed like something everybody was trying to get from her. Does that make sense? Once she's in a relationship, now it's her job to start to feel comfortable being in her body and sharing her physical body with Kevin, just like it's time for Kevin to get comfortable with his emotions so he can share his emotional heart, his emotional being with Jackie. And it is human nature for each of them to feel anxious and avoidant in that space between them. When Jackie doesn't feel emotionally connected to Kevin, she starts to feel a little anxious. So she goes after him, going, let's talk, let's talk, let's talk. And that can make Kevin feel avoidant. So he's like, woo. And Kevin, when he doesn't get enough physical connection from Jackie, he's like, come on, baby, come on, baby. And she's like, ah, because both of them don't really know what's expected of the other. They feel vulnerable and out of that connection. The commitment is to being a better and better intimacy team. That's what you want to do. That means being a better player, a better partner, and being a better player and a better partner for both of them. They, the outside world, talk about six kinds of intimacy. I'm just going to run through them very quickly, and I'm going to tell you how we address these. There's emotional intimacy, physical intimacy, sexual intimacy, experiential intimacy, intellectual intimacy, spiritual intimacy. That's the six. Emotional intimacy means safe to express your emotions. You feel understood by even your cues. Okay? From love to anger. Physical intimacy is Kevin, so that he feels safe to express himself physically, whether that's lovingly or even in anger. And the real intimacy is knowing that you're safe in between there, that you're not going to pounce on each other with emotional words or pounce on each other physically. Sexual intimacy is the physical expression and the emotional expression of emotional and physical intimacy. That's your sensual. And in the intimacy game plan, my program, my work, you're with me now, I call sex, we have redefined it to pleasure. So sexual intimacy is sharing your pleasure together, emotional and physical. Being able to drop your walls and go, ah, mm-hmm. That's a huddle sound. Experiential intimacy happens as a team because you are practicing the understanding each other's cues just like a team. When Kevin goes to throw a ball at his teammate, he goes, hey, those little cues are understanding the emotions. He can understand the emotions from his partner. Knowing exactly how to throw the ball so that his teammate can catch it, that's physical awareness. That's what we learn by having a practice and an intimacy plan. Experiential intimacy comes from trying new things together. Intimacy, having a game plan, trying new moves, finding what works for you, finding what doesn't. Even the bad times, those are great experiences. Remember that bad game we had? That was still a lot of fun. Remember? Intellectual intimacy, they might define it as that we have the same viewpoint and intellectual on the outside of the world. I consider intellectual intimacy being about respecting your partner's point of view. Doesn't mean that I completely understand you. Sometimes the understanding can take a really long time, but I respect your point of view, whether I agree with it or not. We're still part of a team. Spiritual intimacy, that is the best. And people will say, what does spiritual mean? Team spirit. Team spirits means that there's something bigger than you, that we are part of a team and we are working for us. Us is bigger than me or you. It is us. That makes sense? That's why having an intimacy game plan is what makes intimacy and relationships easy. We know what we're practicing, when, where, why. We know when we're showing up for practice and what moves we're going to have that day. And that when you get stuck, those places where your partner won't show up or they're not returning your ball or there's equipment issues, there's actually solutions for it. That's why we're here. Whether it's wins, whether it's losses, good times, bad, on the field, on the field. That's how you get to the love you man phase. That's what a team has. Whether they're good, even after those bad games, love you man. That's what I'm talking about. That's intimacy. Now you've got a coach and a perspective to go from roommates to playmates. And remember, the practice is the best part of getting to the love you man phase. I have delivered a popular TED Talk. I have written a book called The Huddle, How to Score in Sex and Love. It's written with the guys in mind because I saw that what was missing was the best part: making love, practicing love, giving and receiving love. So drop me a comment. I'd love to hear what your biggest takeaway is, or show me some love by leaving me a heart in your favorite color, because I'm Amy Keller, your favorite intimacy coach. And just like you don't have to figure out how to play football without a coach, you don't have to figure out how to be lovers, how to navigate intimacy, life, sex, relationships alone. I'm here to help you with real skills. I got a real practice and a real plan. You'll find links in the description below to get the game plan or to reach out to me, because having a coach and an intimacy game plan is how the best players become the best teams. That's how you win. So please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and stay connected to yourself, each other, and me. And I'll see you soon.